when your freedoms are being taken. It is time for history to repeat itself and stand.
Good morning, Miss Cindy.
Good
I think
morning, Pastor Lena.
yeah, our music is still playing in the background because I hit the merge button too quick, but that's okay. We can go ahead and talk.
You know what? I, I don't put anything past anything anymore with all the technology and the craziness that's going on. So
Yeah, well, it's all craziness that's going on. We know that, but
it is.
I've found two more movies you have got to watch. So Cindy and I
Yes.
watched the movies about January 6th and some really good insight with people that are going through them with an entire team and putting the information out. And so then they've got a couple of new ones out on the George Floyd matter also. And, you watched the one George Floyd one that I sent you, and there's another one out there that we definitely need to get our eyes on.
Yes, exactly. The Now you can see why, if you have a chance to see any of this, the one that the Epic Times put out, you can see why they went ahead and would do it. It
Hmm.
horrid. It was horrid when they, of all people, should know, when you had those people in that tunnel, you should have just got them out. They were
Right.
screaming for help to get out, and they gassed them. And then that woman who was just screaming for help and no one would help her, and then that other woman that the cop kept beating her and beating her even when she was on the ground half alive, and they drug her body, and then they ignored all of that, and then
Hmm.
they wanted to portray it as, oh, the J6 people killed all these officers and killed all these people. No, they didn't. No, they
Yeah.
didn't. Otherwise, if that was the case, why didn't you show all of the 40,000 hours of footage? Why did you hide it?
Right.
See?
And they've also discovered that Ashley Babbitt, who got killed up there on January the 6th, the police officer shot and then lied on the radio saying that they were shooting at him. He was the only one that shot, and she's dead. Okay. So there's a
Yes.
lot that was going on there that, people need to be aware of. And as we go through the Constitution, we've come up to the 15th Amendment, which is our right to vote. Our right to vote. Um, the rights of the citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. The Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. So, this one started out dealing with the former slaves and the blacks at that particular point in time. And, people in the South still kept denying them the right to vote. They'd put taxes on it that they couldn't pay and things of that nature, which we'll get into here shortly. But, our rights are being taken every day of the week, it seems like. This is not the country
Yes.
I grew up in. I'm 65. Okay. I remember when people were proud to go vote, and nobody, in Missouri, I've always had to show my ID to vote. And that's been the case forever. I had to have either my driver's license or a voter registration card in order to vote. And, all these states that keep saying, no, you can't have ID laws in order to vote and everything. That's insanity. But then the second insanity is the what is it, 900,000 people, I think, at this point that have come across our southern border. And a lot of the states
Yeah,
are wanting to give them IDs. Um, they're not American
yeah.
citizens, okay? They do not need American IDs. They need for their own home country until they go and take the classes and become citizens. This giving away our rights to people that don't claim this country as their own is not a good thing, in my opinion. I don't
No,
know. What's your opinion?
it's not a good thing. And you know that whole thing um, about like when I was watching it, the voting during the time when Trump and Biden were
Hmm.
running against one another. The It sickened me the way that people spoke about the I hate the word. I just hate it. I don't know who came up with it. The minorities. No, they're Americans.
Uh-huh.
And they said, "Oh, well, we can't. They don't know how to get an ID. They need help, and a lot of these people they don't know how to work things." I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now?" Just like when I saw and this line's right up in it when I saw the movie Selma, where they
Hmm.
were saying, "Well, they didn't know how to read and write," and they're like, "What are you on?" These people like there was a scene where where Oprah had gone in several times, and you see her write, and she wrote. She didn't print her name. She wrote her
Hmm.
name and everything and filled out the paperwork so that she could vote. And they kept denying her. And then the president at that time they took those rights away from the black community, and then he brought it back and said, "Oh, look, the president has given the black community the right to vote." No, they've always had that right.
Right.
They've always had that right to vote. The president, those that the Democrats took that from them and then brought it back to them. But that was their right from the very beginnings. The very
Yeah.
beginnings. If you are born here, you know,
Well, most Americans believe that the right to vote is one of the fundamental constitutional rights, but neither the original Constitution nor the Bill of Rights nor any other provision of the Constitution expressly guarantees the right to vote. It was only in the
mhm,
1960s that the 15th Amendment came in, and the Supreme Court concluded that everybody can vote. And once the court recognized the vote, decisions of the Supreme Court helped revolutionize the way voting was treated under American constitutional laws. But most of the laws concerning the right to vote developed under the 14th Amendment that we did last week. And but court decisions also have relied very heavily on the 15th Amendment. The original Constitution did not expressly protect those rights because they thought by doing so it'd be too controversial and divided. And so you had all the southern states that put in various rules to try to keep people from voting. Many states said you had to uh, own property, and they had different amounts of property you had to own. And some states permitted women and free black men to vote, others did not. So this is what went into effect to make the voting rights equal. And right now, if
right.
the Biden administration and everybody gets their way, they want to allow all the illegal aliens that have come across our border to vote in our country. That's
Well,
that's not good. We're getting outnumbered.
no. That's the reason why that is happening is because it's an agenda. And I'll tell you
Hmm.
what, once the voting happens and they can say, "Oh, you can vote." Once and they say you just vote Democrat, just vote Democrat. that in their thinking,
Mm-hmm.
then once a Democrat gets reelected again, then they're gonna usher these people back over the borders and everything. They're not gonna be so, oh, we're sanctuary cities, because they are overwhelmed. They can't deal with it, and they're only keeping them there for the fact just during this voting season. If it was not voting time, you would not see them here coming in droves like this. And you know why? Because Democrats always have to cheat. They always
Mm-hmm.
have to cheat because they know they will not win. They will do whatever they have to do to win. They they will cheat, they will lie, they will be deceitful. You saw, I'm telling you, I have people that I have, and I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. We have been around, no matter, if you're the baby boomers, or before that you're Gen Xers such as myself. We all know that on voting day you go and you place your vote up until all the polls are closed. Then you go home, and those voting stay counted, and you stay counting, and you stay counting until all the votes are counted. And then when all the votes are counted, then it's done. You do not go and shut stuff down and still count days and weeks afterwards. That's
Well,
illegal.
we're 3 years into the Biden administration, and the courts in the last few weeks have overturned two or three election results from the 2020 election because of miscounted ballots, other ballots coming in order, absentee ballots. And, so many states have proven the fraud that President Trump was talking about. And so they've
Yeah,
overturned various elections and everything right now. So there's a lot going on in our country that you need to be aware of.
exactly. Exactly. That's why they pulled the stunt that they did, that setup with the Stop the Steal. They were to come peacefully, and that's what he said, peacefully and patriotically. We were just going to stand and protest, not invade, but stand outside and shout like "Stop the Steal" and USA and that, but to show them we know what you did. We
Right.
count. It was more of a message to Mike Pence, to go, look, we know something's not right.
Hmm.
Don't secure the votes today. Let's do some more investigating before you do it. That's all we were asking. And they took advantage of that Stop the Steal, and with January 6th, and made us look like, I can guarantee you, and I know you can back me up on this. If that many people, if the American people had planned an
Hmm.
insurrection, fully armed,
Yeah, we
how do you
have
think
a
that would have
lot.
went down? How
We
do you think
have
it would have went down?
we have a lot of guns in this country. It seems like anymore we have the American citizens have more guns than our military because our administration keeps sending all of our weapons to the other side of the world. And so
Yep.
he's basically leaving us unprotected here with these actions. And he shouldn't be in that office, okay? We know that the election was completely mishandled and there was so much fraud. And, you know, we'll probably get in trouble for saying that, but it's
No, you
fact,
won't.
we know what
Yeah.
happened. We watch it. You and I study on this stuff every week. I mean, we have numerous conversations about it. And,
Yep.
I always go back and look at the actual footage since it's been released. And I go and, we just watched the thing about the George Floyd matter. up in, where's that, Minnesota or Michigan? Where was that? And, you know, it's
Minnesota.
amazing what they didn't show you, because there was a lot that you didn't see. And they manipulated the video footage and so forth with the mainstream media to make it look, um, they sanitized it. If they'd shown the entire video, they would have seen what the officers went through just to get the man to try to get him in a car. And they called for an ambulance 30 seconds after they put handcuffs on him. So, you know,
Yeah,
mainstream media won't tell you
just
that stuff.
exactly. Watch, pay attention. But see, that's the mainstream media is the mainstream media is very responsible for swaying the public, and
Right.
it's terrible that that they are that type of sheep where they will eat and listen to everything that the main news will tell you. When something is going on, watch the small news. Look what just happened. I know we're getting a little off track here, but I'm just saying the 40,000 hours of video have been released from January 6th. Okay, the Epstein client list, flight log, has just been released. What is going now where they're going, look over here, look over
Mm-hmm.
here, and try to find you things that will distract you from that. But you know what? The American people have learned from that. And you know what? We may look over here, but no, we're not going to stop talking about January 6th. And no, we're not going to stop talking about the Epstein client list. We have a right to know. And those girls, I just read an article whether it's true or not, and that's terrible. We don't know whether things are true or not. But they said one of the women that were used there, one of the young girls, she ended up doing herself in because when she was taken to Epstein Island to be used, to be
Mm-hmm.
trafficked there. And it's like, don't these women, hello, women, did I not do a show on this? I thought, believe survivors or the Me Too movement, protect women. But everybody's being silent on or doesn't want to find justice for these girls and these
Yeah.
children trafficked that we know that Epstein trafficked them. What about justice for them? But no, they're hiding. They're
Mm-hmm.
hiding them. And it's like, where's the justice for them, huh?
Yeah. We're
You
not
know,
seeing
it
any
doesn't.
justice for them. We're not seeing um, justice for our police officers in the George Floyd matter. If you went and you saw all the body cam footage and everything, which Cindy and I have both watched, you would figure out that there was a whole lot more going on there than some man screaming, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. He was also screaming that I just talked to my mama. His mother died 3 years before the incident. Okay. The man was lying in a lot of his actions, and he was abusive, and he was the one fighting, and, people standing on the street telling him, just get in the car, and he wouldn't do it. So, but if you go and you look at all the body cam footage and everything, you'll find out what actually happened. And we've got police officers sitting in prison that, in my opinion, should not be there.
You know, the thing that gets me when I watched the George Floyd thing was the riots. And then they want to big up January 6th and go, oh, look how terrible it is. Look how many people died in those riots. And
Right.
then they want us to try to say, oh, Trump should be excluded from the ballot because he was a part of January 6th. No, he was not. But people like the VP who was bailing people out of jail during all of those riots, and what they say, people are going to do what they're going to do. They burned down a federal building. They burned down police stations. the J6 didn't do that.
Right.
They didn't do that. They didn't set things on fire. What happened to the guy? Okay, so they got fired, but what else happened to him? Is he facing charges for having gay sex on the Senate floor, on the desk there, and filmed
Yeah.
it in the Senate? Is he going to prison? Is he going to jail? Compared to the
No, they
guy
took his
that was,
yeah, they took his job away, and that was it. They
yeah,
took that guy's
but
job away.
but yeah, that guy, and then the guy who was escorted in to the building that day on January 6th, and he went into Pelosi's office and put his feet up on the desk. He's in jail. He's in jail for a
Right.
long time. But that guy can, and then the other guy, somebody's aide or whatever, they can do that and desecrate our Senate, our United States Senate, and do that and film it. And all they get is, oh, you're fired, bad
Yeah.
boy. No, you go to jail. You defile the
Yeah.
Senate. You don't
Yeah, well,
do stuff
he's
like
getting
that.
ready to file a lawsuit to get his job back. He didn't think he did anything wrong by having sex in the Senate chambers.
Do you
And
see what I'm saying?
the pictures were everywhere. Okay, it's hard to miss that.
No, no. And then you know what? For a whole week straight, and I'm going to just say it, for a whole week straight, I going through my Facebook, there was every meme with the word butthole in it. I'm so glad that it passed. But yeah, person who did that video. Yes, nobody, no. And you can't, I mean, even one of the people that I know, and he's gay, but he is not part of the community. And even he said, what did you think was going to happen to you when you did a stupid stunt like that? And
Right.
you're trying to wave the gay flag, and it's like, that's not going to work. You don't see gay people getting out, their work for a living, have, that work hard, have a good home and stuff. You don't see them doing stupid, disgusting stunts like that. And then going,
No.
oh, but I'm gay. You're touching me, but I'm gay. That's a topic for another time, which I'm sure that we will address. But it's just the part that I'm talking about is the unfairness.
Hmm.
Is where it's good this when they have an agenda they want to push, but it's oh, all of you people are going to go to jail, and then to find out that the AG is trying to go after every Trump voter. You can't do that. It's illegal.
Yeah.
Everybody has a right to vote for whom they want to vote for.
It's supposed to be a secret ballot. Okay. You don't write your names on those things, but somehow they can figure out everybody who voted for Trump and they want to give us a hard time. And, I will proudly stand up and tell you I voted for Trump because the Democrats have tried to destroy this nation way too long. And, I really liked him because he was a businessman. Because, our country is a business when you get right down to the bottom line, with all the budget things and so forth like that. And I wanted a businessman who knew how to do things because most of the people that they're trying to put in positions for court judges and, um, everything like that right now, they get them in there and they get to questioning them. And we've had 4 or 5 lately that don't even know the Constitution that they were trying to put in as judges, but Biden had suggested for judges. If you don't know the Constitution, you cannot be a judge, okay? You need to know what the laws are.
When you can't, yeah, when you cannot tell me, when you were asked an easy question and you cannot tell the Senate what is a woman, get out of here. Get out of
Yeah,
here. You need to sit
nobody
one
knows what
out.
a woman is. It's
Yeah,
gotten so
yeah.
crazy. Cindy and I know what women are. Okay, we are some. You know, we're part of it. We know what a woman is. And it's not just somebody who sits at home and cooks your meals and does your laundry. Okay, I
Uh,
can hire somebody for that if it came down to it. But I guess we ought to get back to the 15th Amendment. No,
but
actually,
just with, with that, just and then I'll jump out of it. But with that, because these days there's a lot of people that will argue that. But there was a meme that I think you saw that I posted as well, on my Facebook, and it had somebody. I think it was Dean. What's his name? I can't think of his last name. He does Christian movies now as well, but he used to play Superman. And he
mhm.
had said to somebody, he showed the person, and he said, "You're not a real woman." And the person wrote back and said, "Well, yeah, you played Superman. You're not a real Superman." He goes, "You're exactly right. I was pretending." And it's like, get it? I was
Yeah,
pretending. Well, that's it. If you were to die, it's the truth. If you were to die, okay, and you're dressed in you got dressed up as you're dressed as a woman, and you're in your coffin, and say it was suspicious causes, and they have to look up your remains, and they got to check your DNA. You're gonna come up if you were a male, you're gonna come up a male. You're not gonna come up
right.
a female.
Yeah, you're not going to change your
So
basic DNA. So, you
you
know,
can't.
it's all pretend. And that's one of the reasons I get on my soapbox on trials and triumphs because you're not putting the information out there. I've spoken with a few transitioners that were actually convinced that they would be a woman after they transition, a fully functioning woman. And, now everything closed up and they can't even have sex of any kind. So it's like, why have you done
Yes,
these children?
I don't care. I don't care any of you guys, whether if you don't believe in the Almighty God or not. But when you want to convince people that going through surgery and being a drugstore female or being a drugstore male, because that's what you are without your pills, without all those medications that go with it, and you want to push that, you don't take your fight to the people. You don't take your fight to the Supreme Court. You got to take your fight to God, because that's where it ends up lying. Okay? You got to take it to Him. There's nothing, we didn't create you. And you're trying to
Right.
say God made a mistake. But like I said, that is definitely a conversation for another time. But these are
God doesn't
things
make
that
mistakes.
these, but these are issues that you look at it and go, well, my gosh, this is pretty much self-explanatory. But it gets votes on things,
Hmm.
by this, and they're not the right to vote is being completely raped.
Right. You
It
know,
really is.
with all of the people coming in that don't belong in this country, I think it was 900,000 people that have come across our border. Last number I looked at. And, some of these states, like California, want to give them all driver's licenses and state IDs, and they're now offering to pay for sex changes for all the illegal immigrants in California. So that,
How's it?
in case you're not paying attention, that's Medicaid money, and that comes from our tax dollars. Our tax dollars pay for all that Medi-Cal and Medicaid and so forth. And so, whenever you're bringing in these people that don't even have green cards, they can't get a job legally, and then you're going to give them IDs and so forth. They could technically walk in and register to vote because nobody's going to turn around and look at their immigration status. And so,
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
elections are going to be totally skewed because nobody's following the law.
Well, somehow, some way, see, they want to try to do a redo of 2020. But this
Right.
time, it's not going to work because people are hip to that. Now, don't get it twisted, my famous. Don't get it twisted. Nobody here is saying that they don't want illegals here, that America is made up of immigrants. We're saying don't come here illegally because it's unfair. Number one. Number
Right.
two, you have not been vetted. Number three, it is not fair to any of the people of the generations that have come here and paid the money, that did the work, that did the time, and earned their citizenship and waited in line. It's not fair to them. And you know what? I say this right now. If you're going to let all these illegals in and stuff, then you need to pay back every single person that went ahead and had to pay the 20 grand or more and did and obeyed the rules, came to the front door and obeyed the rules to come here and paid the money, did everything, and then went through the ceremony. Give them back their money then. If you're allowing all these others to come through freely, then you owe the people that came here legally the right way. You owe them. And that is not us, not out of our pockets, out of all those stinking billionaires' pockets. Get into your slush funds and pay all those people back. That's what
Yeah.
I say.
And, you know, um, I don't, there's a lot of people in the United States that cannot pass the United States citizenship test. You can go to PragerU on the internet, and they have on their website somewhere a citizenship test. And I study the Constitution daily and, do all this research and so forth. And so I decided, okay, what the heck, I'm going to take this test. And I even missed one question. So, I knew enough that I would have passed the citizenship test, but these people that are coming across our borders and they even refuse to speak English. You know, it's like if you come to this country, leave your flags where you came from. Do not bring your flags into our country. Learn our language, and you know, take the citizenships test. Study what our nation's about. And then I wouldn't have so
Yeah.
much of a problem with you. But they seem to be coming across and just wanting to set up their own communities to look like home, and they don't consider
Yeah.
the United States home.
Hey, teachers, why are you in Oregon? Why are you applauding the fact, and I brought this up several times, and I'll keep bringing it up. Why are you saying, oh, we're not going to teach these minorities, we're not going to teach them the, the reading and all the other hard stuff, we're not going to put that on them, and everybody's applauding, and it's like, why? Why are you not going to teach these children how to read and write? That is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. These
Hmm.
children are going to be brought up illiterate, and they're going, yeah, you know what? That there's an agenda on that as well. Don't you let anybody, and I've said this before, don't let anyone not teach you how to read and write. And you know what? They took away cursive. Why? Because they said, oh, it's too hard for people. You know what? We all learned it. And it is crucial that you learn how to write. That's now become code, Pastor Ladina. Did you know that? That's like they said, Jets Generation X and back. That's their code language. Because people today that are grown up, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to read it. They don't know the letters. And they said that's their code language. And I'm like, that's handwriting, that's signature. You need to know how to read the Constitution and legal documents because it's written.
You
You
need to
need to
know
learn
how
that.
to learn
Yeah,
how to read the ballot and take advantage of your voting rights. If you're a citizen in this nation, then you need to get out and vote. You need to understand and read what kind of laws they're trying to put in place, and read all the other things that they put on there that some of them I think is a little ridiculous, but you need to be able to read who's running, research what their stance is on certain items and so forth, and take advantage of your right to vote. And going down and getting a state ID or a driver's license, if you are a United States citizen, they say that a lot of people can't do that. I call bull on that one. Sorry. I'm just saying that because you have to have those same IDs to go get your Medicaid and your food stamps and all that stuff. So I'm sure they've got IDs that they can present when they want to vote.
yet it angers me to no end that people are accepting of this. That people are
Hmm.
accepting of this, and they think it's okay. That is, I think that is neglect. I think that's abuse when you will not teach your children. Your children have every right to learn. That's so
Hmm.
that you can when they grow up, you put them out into the world. Do you want to put your child out into the world when they don't know how to read a sign? They're not going to be able to drive. And you know what?
Yeah.
This is going to hurt their right to vote because you know what they're going to
Uh-huh.
say? Oh, just check this box right here. That's all you need to do. That is a violation of your own personal rights, and see, you won't even know it. You
Yeah.
won't even
You
know
won't
it.
know. You don't know what you've done. You don't, somebody told you to check this box and they know how to read. So you figure that they know what the answer is. And, I'm one of those, I guess maybe I'm just not very trusting. I don't want people to read me stuff. I don't comprehend it as well when people read to me. But if I'm reading it myself, I can catch on really quickly. And, that's one of the important things, because if you cannot read and write, then you cannot understand what's going on in our country. And
Exactly.
in
Exactly.
1965, Congress put in the Voting Rights Act that provided a means for the federal government and the federal courts to ensure that the right to vote was not denied on the basis of race. Um, and I was alive when Martin Luther King walked across that bridge. I watched it all. I heard it all. I watched the desegregation of the schools, broadcast everywhere. And yes, I'm old, and I had one boy ask me if I was alive when John F.
You're not
Kennedy was
old.
shot.
You're not old. You're not
you
old.
know,
You're not old.
it's you know, kids don't understand, and so a lot of times with the young people around, the 20s and younger, um, I spend a lot of time talking to them about the rights in this country and what they need to stand up for. And I have to say that most of the research is showing that 20 something men, and right now the ones that are not uh, brain damaged and trying to change into the opposite sex, are more conservative than their parents. Well, we have a lot of conservatives coming up right now.
Learn our language.
Look,
Are you talking?
um,
You turned your volume on your phone there, lady.
you know what? I did, and I was trying to look at it because I got a notification from that, and I'm like, shut up, and I was like, oh well, I'll just get out of it for right now. But yeah, you know what? Uh, that president had no right to take that from anybody. It was that. Let me explain. This is why You need to read your Bible and get to know the Almighty God. Because protecting yourself, the Second Amendment that we have discussed, that is an inalienable right, which means it's God given. God
Mhm.
given. So man cannot take that right from you. That is
They're
your right
trying.
to protect yourself. Voting
Yeah.
is a God given right. You have the right to vote. Whether, they want to say only men can vote. No, that's man trying to dictate. But you,
Right.
as a whole, you have that God given right to let your voice be heard. Okay? Whether you people agree with you or they don't, you
Hmm.
have that right. Free speech. What was the first one we did, Pastor
Yep.
Ladina? The first constitutional uh,
Yeah. The
one we
freedom
talked
of
about?
religion and the freedom of speech and freedom of the press. We find that one stomped on daily. You know, just try to post something on Facebook that goes against their standards, even though it's fact. They have their fact checkers and their AI and so forth. Will say that it's violating an algorithm that dismantles the narrative that the elite want out there. It's kind of like, okay, why are all the elite at this point? There's something going to happen. Okay, all the elite are building bunkers at their house. Zuckerberg, after all the things that have gone on ever since he put Facebook up and so forth, this last year he started building a huge bunker at his house. Bill Gates built a big bunker. So, we have to watch what they're doing because they're not going to tell you, but they're getting ready for
No, they're
something big.
hiding from that apophis that's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to come, that's supposed to hit the earth. So, see, they're hiding from it, but they could care less about you. Now, remember that. Now, think about that. When they come out and they do a TED talk and they come out and speak to you and sound like they care about you, they're building a bunker to protect themselves. Are they building something for you? No.
No.
No, they don't care about you. Okay? So when they're talking and stuff, they're trying to push an agenda, but
Yeah. And then if you're close enough to Colorado to try to get up to NORAD, trust me, they're probably going to lock the gates. You're not even going to get in there. They've got enough room to house thousands and thousands of people. But, that's government. And, all of these people, like I said, Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and so forth, they're all building bunkers. So we need to watch what's going on around us because we're very close
Amen.
to being at war. We're very close to World War III. And
Amen.
disturbs me. But, you know, I try not to think about it too much, but it hits me in the face every day.
It does. It does. And that's the biggest thing that I would like to say for today regarding about the vote. Do not let anyone silence your voice to vote. You fight for your right to vote. And you fight for the right that the votes are legal,
Hmm.
that they don't have machines that take your
And
vote, and change it.
right,
You make us think about that, because you know what? That's a violation of your voting right. And some people will go, "Oh, well, you know what? It doesn't matter anyway." Yes, it does matter. See, that's the attitude they want you to take. If they can get
hmm,
away with it, they're going to do it more, and they're going to do it more. You need to fight for your right to have your voice heard. That's your constitutional right. That's the whole reason that me and Pastor Ladina do this show, to teach you and go over the Constitution and what your rights are, and then to show you where you're being violated at. And it is a big deal. It is a big
right.
deal, because that is the one thing. The Constitution is the one thing that other countries do not have. And then when other people go and get in trouble in other countries, they're like, "Well, where's my? I'm proven innocent until I'm guilty." And it's like, that's in America, pal. This ain't America. Sorry, get into jail. And then you're like, and you feel that,
Yeah, well, we have gone over our time once again. But, we could talk on this right to vote for a long time because, felons in this
Yeah.
nation, most of them cannot vote. They're trying to change that. But, we just have to watch what's going on around us. Pay attention to what our government is doing. And in the meantime, I'm going to have to tell you goodbye, Miss Cindy, and I will talk with you again soon. We got to get off here. The boss is
You have a
watching.
good day, Pastor Ladina. We'll see you
You
guys
too.
Wednesday.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And like she said, we'll be back on Wednesday for High Octane and Trials and Triumphs. So, everyone, have a blessed day. It's good to see you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
When your freedoms are being taken.